confusion on that link. Right. Sorry, shall we start that? I really apologize for that. Vishwak, Venkat, are you there?
Yes, he is joining. So you can take the lead and we can start the session.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Good afternoon. Let me welcome all of you and let me introduce myself. I am Nazimuddin, MD of Aamin Data in Dubai, based in Dubai. Thank you for taking time to attend this UAE e-invoice webinar. Before we start, let me apologize for the registration process and little bit hiccup. Because our previous experience on AI webinar caused the issue, nearly 300 plus registration was done. And it was mainly students. Though they are our future customers, it has caused some inconvenience to our regular customers during Q&A session. We thought taking AI help, but it may scare our regular customer. Hence, we took this usual route of inviting by email and then registering. But multiple registration has happened through team. Sorry for that. Let's start immediately. Right, let me share that. I'm talking only this. It's always sometimes something goes wrong, so we can fix it. All right. All right, here we go. Because we were waiting in the other invite, other session. Sorry for that. Let's do that. Okay. Just a minute on the Aamin data. We only deal with AI-based software. We are like a third pillar, actually. We first pillar, you can say ERP or accounting package, whatever you like it. Second one is your CRM and customer relationship. Third thing is GRC, risk management, audit management, and analytics. Those things forms the third pillar. So we deal with that, and we are like enhance your business. We like to add the value to your business. Right. There are people joining now, and what we do is, I'm just clicking at meeting, so that little bit of delay on that. Okay, let's move on to that. As data, we deal with this 9. It's data science and analytical tool. Some of you know me from ACL days. Some of you know me from the Diligent and things like the last 15 years. We are in that space. Currently, we are dealing with Swiss GRC, which is also based in Switzerland. Both aids the audit, aids the risk, compliance, controls, business continuity, business process, all these things. One side is the analytics, another side is the complete process of GRC. DBW is the SAP connector. They are the SAP experts. They pull data from SAP and provide that link to GRC or any other tool or any other system you would like to have. Taxila, that's one I will leave it to Venkat, my colleague, who is going to present it. And the last one, but not least, I am talking about Extract. That one is like logistic management solution. It's also an Indian company, one of the largest logistic solution provider. They track all the trucks, movements. Amazon uses, Indian Oil uses, Adani cement. Most of the cement factories, they use this solution. It's about like 50,000 trucks they use it. And that's if you are from logistic companies, we can take this 101 separately, similarly for GRC, similarly for undertakes. Okay, today's agenda is e-invoice. Let's stick to that. We already lost few minutes, so I'm just rushing a little bit more. By the way, any attendees from invite from Z Dimension, please, I welcome them. And they also are associate partners, and they have sent out the invitation in that name. Now, let's get back to the actual subject of the day. It's a e-invoicing announced by UAE. The information, what you see on the screen, I hope everyone hears properly. And if not, just raise your hand. This is from the Ministry of Finance website. So the agenda is to get this up running in the second quarter of 2026. So far, things are happening in the right manner, right pace, so that people will be able to use the system and integrate their solutions. So what's in it? What are the things you need to do? Very simple. E-invoice, as the name speak, E means everything digital, everything right. Okay, so no more manual invoice to business to business. At this moment, they are going to start only the business to business. No more Word, PDF documents. What's going to happen? The most important thing here is you had to follow the structure defined by the government. You could have done anything as you like in the business so far. There are business like 50 years, 40 years, fine. However, now the structure, what the government wants to fill it out in the invoice, that's provided by the government. Now that's where we come in. Now, if you are talking about big customization, that's changing your software. It's a headache and no need. We can do that. We can pick up that data and create this invoice. And then there is a middleware where the government receives that invoice, checks it, send it to the buyer. That's it. It looks so simple. It is simple if you follow that process. Very simple, right? Now, there are a few things which you need to be taken care is why they are doing is basically to reduce the gap of tax evasion, and also they want to see what the sell and buy, the cost and the tax, right? That's it. So that's the structure. That's what they want to do, and that's the data we have to provide to the government. There are 2 points here. If you look at it, this is again from the Ministry of Finance document. Point number 3, point number 4. Point number 3, you need to have your financial auditor following the financial year of UAE. Keep that handy when you are registering. Now, there is a small kind of a catch. You need to have this report from any audit firms, but reputed audit firms who have been certified, granted proper license from the government of UAE. If your bank accepts that audit report, generally it is fine. It is okay with the government as well. Second thing is ISO 22301. This is the process you need to have. You need to have the certification. Everybody waits for the last minute. You know what happens in the last minute. Then the certification providers, consultant, the cost goes up. Instead of that, be prepared. start implementing if you don't have one, and keep that handy, keep it in advance so that you know that what's happening. And then within that, what it says is the business continuity. So the GRC, which I mentioned, which also deals with business continuity, how you can deal with that, how you can process it. It's mentioned in the our SysGRC GRC toolkit. So we can also discuss that later. Today we will focus only on the e-invoice. Is all good so far? That's all the introduction. I had a little bit more, but I had to cut short because of this registration issue and then login issue. Sorry for that again. And let me hand over to Venkat. Venkat is from Taxila. He is head of sales. He is involved in that 800 plus implementation uh, within this area, like Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Europe. It's part of some of the Europe and Southeast Asia. Venkat, if you are.
Yeah, I'm here, Nazim. Thanks for the very quick introduction about me, and thank you everyone for joining this session on e-invoicing in UAE. So as E stands for e-invoicing, everything e-delivery, that's what Nazim has put it very simple and better way. He made it very easy. E-invoicing, he made it looks like very easy, but it's not that much of easy. It's a complicated. Let me tell you how it is complicated and what is e-invoicing more in detail. So just give me a second. I will start sharing my screen and talk about e-invoicing. So see, if you have any questions in between, you can put it in Q&A so that we can take up those questions at the end of the session or else in between. Okay, all right. So just very quickly, so about Taxilla, we are a global e-invoicing service provider. Not only e-invoicing, we do provide services which are into CFO's office, maybe AR side, AP side, reconciliations, tax reporting, financial closures, VAT reporting, everything we do offer, but e-invoicing is our flagship product. So in more than 25 countries, we are offering e-invoicing. But let us understand what is e-invoicing in UAE. But let us understand what is the current process today in UAE. If you think about the current process, most of you are having an ERP or multiple ERPs which generates the invoices. What exactly you do is you generate the invoice, you make an entry in the ERP, then you generate invoice PDF. That invoice PDF you are going to submit to the customer. That is what typically happening via email or hard copy or maybe a paper invoice. So all the paper invoices or PDFs or scanned PDFs are not considered as e-invoices. It is not in a structured format. So what exactly UAE government FTA made is, so e-invoicing, they are making it mandatory from July 2026, which you can see it on the screen, but pilot phase is going to start from December 2025. So these are few other descriptions of timelines. You can see it on the screen, but majority what we have to focus is when pilot phase, which is December, and when go live July 2026. So if you see phase one, so which are all companies are falling under phase one? There is no information available until today. So we are expecting any company in between 100 million to 500 million dirhams. For those companies, e-invoicing is going to become mandatory from July 2026. That announcement we are expecting very soon from FTA. So what about other companies means over the period of 1 year maximum, e-invoicing is going to applicable for every company or every tax registered firm in UAE. Okay, so once e-invoice becomes mandate, what exactly we have to do, we will talk in detail. There is no paper invoice, no PDF, no scanned PDF. So every customer has to generate invoice in a structured format. That format is XML PIN AE. So PIN stands for PayPal International. So every customer has to generate invoice in structured format, which is XML PIN AE. It means you no more PDFs, nothing. You have to generate this XML and submit to the buyer. So what is going to happen is, now you are submitting invoice to the buyer. Buyer is making entry in their ERP, let's say after 1 week or something, then they are issuing payments to you after 30 days or 40 days from the entry date. That is what exactly happening today. But Once e-invoice becomes mandatory, all that doesn't come into picture. As soon as seller generates the invoice, that invoice straight away going to buyer's ERP. It means seller ERP and buyer ERP are integrated. No, seller ERP is not integrated with buyer ERP. There is a workflow in place. How that is going to happen, we will talk about that workflow in detail. So how the exchange of invoice are going to happen means not directly from seller ERP to buyer ERP via PayPal access points. This is something which we have to remember. So what is this PayPal access point? We will talk in detail, and what is paper also we'll touch base it. So in UAE, e-invoicing is DCTCE, Decentralized Continuous Transaction Control and Exchange. This seems to be too big term for someone to understand very first time, but in simple words, let us remember it as five corner model. So what is this five corner model? We will talk in detail as we go forward. So one thing you have to remember is no more paper invoice. Everything should be in proper format, structured format, XML. As soon as seller generates invoice, that is going to buyer CRP. How it is going to happen, let us discuss. So let me talk about e-invoicing comparison with other countries. Is UAE is the very first country to adopt e-invoicing? No, e-invoicing is already there in many countries across the globe. We took few examples here for someone to understand. So typically there are different types of e-invoicing: clearance, reporting, CTC, continuous transaction model, DCTC, which is exactly UAE invoicing. So there are different models comes into picture. So India, it's a clearance model which is there from 2020. So what is this clearance model? It means unless and until you get clearance from regulatory authority, you can't submit invoice to the buyer. It means only three parties are involved, three persons or two persons, which is seller as well as regulatory authority. It means you have to submit that invoice to the regulatory authority. Regulatory authority will acknowledge. In return, it gives some information. That information you have to capture on the invoice. Still, that invoice you have to submit to the buyers. It means still that paper invoice PDFs coming into picture. But if you see in UAE, there is no paper invoice. So FTA is taking right measures to for bright future for next generation, like save tree, all those things. Paperless 2025 or paperless 2050, that is their aim to achieve. That's the reason they are completely moving to digitalization, no more paper at all. So that's the reason UAE went with this model. But in India, still paper invoice comes into picture, where you have to print additional information on the invoice, which is given by regulatory authority. That is nothing but clearance model. So Saudi, maybe most of you are aware what is happening in Saudi, exactly replica of India, which is a clearance model, QR code and everything. And in Saudi, to make it complex, invoice must be in Arabic language. But in UAE, that is the case? No. In UAE, invoice should be in English. No need of to be in Arabic. So coming to Malaysia, it's a five corner model, replica of UAE invoicing, where we do have 1,000+ customers standing today in Malaysia for e-invoicing. It means what I want to announce is that we have enough expertise in e-invoicing, exactly replica of UAE model. So Oman is also going with e-invoicing, which is going to become mandatory from Q3 of 2026. That is as per the sources. So if Oman is also going exactly as per UAE regulations, five corner model. So Oman is following footsteps of UAE. That is what I mean to say. So five corner model, exactly they are going to adapt similar to UAE. So coming to Belgium, it's a four corner model. So we will talk what is four corner, five corner in detail. Poland, again, it's a clearance model. So this is a comparison. So e-invoicing is not something new. It is already there across the globe. Every country is going with e-invoicing. Why? Because there are too many advantages to the government if they implement e-invoicing. The first major advantage is they will collect accurate taxes. No one is going to pay fraud taxes to the regulatory authority. Whatever sales is going to happen, purchase is going to happen, real time that information is with regulatory authority, so that they know what tax they can able to collect in that entire quarter or month or from that particular taxpayer. So now PIN-TAE XML. So what is this PIN-TAE XML? So let us understand. So this PIN-TAE XML, which consists of 50 fields, which are grouped into 6 categories. So what are that 50 fields which are grouped into 6 categories? You can see it on the screen: invoice details, seller details, buyer details, All this information is part of this is something known as data dictionary. So all these 50 fields, you have to check in your existing ERP whether all the 50 fields are available or not, whether you can generate this XML or not. So where exactly our experience and Nazim experience comes into picture, Aamin experience comes into picture is, so whatever this missing fields in the ERP, we will do assessments. With that assessment, we will tell you so and so fields are missing, and we will provide you a solution how to add that fields in the ERP or else in the access points, whatever, when you are submitting data to the FTA. So if you see, concentrate here more, there are few fields which are highlighted. What are those highlighted fields? Which are mandatory in UAE PINT, but which are not covered in UAE VAT law. It means these 15 fields are very recently and newly introduced by FTA. Most of the companies won't be having these 15 fields, so you have to concentrate more on these 15 fields. So we will help you to understand each field, what are the lookups available for that field, everything. We are the one who going to help you in entire assessment process. So if someone is wondering, so what is PayPal? Okay, you are talking about e-invoicing, but let me know more about PayPal. So PayPal is Pan-European Public Procurement Online. So what is this European? European is nothing but this itself tells you that this is something first launched in Europe countries. That's what exactly happened. Then what happened is it's a defined, so it is launched in European countries. Why? The major reason it launched also I will tell you. See, government companies adapted PayPal network. What exactly these government companies are doing is they dictated terms to the suppliers, to their suppliers. If you are doing business with government entity, they don't want you to send any paper invoice. They want invoice to be in very structured format. So they adapted this PayPal and they made their suppliers to be on PayPal network. That's how the invoices exchanges are going to happen between business to B2G. So government is something, government companies across Europe adapted PayPal. Then later on, regulatory authority in respective countries of Europe, they made it mandatory irrespective whether it's a government B2G transaction or B2B, they made it mandatory for all the transactions. Then it is expanded beyond Europe, adapted in 30 plus countries. You can see few countries beyond Europe. First country to adapt in Gulf is UAE, followed by UAE, Oman, and it's already mandatory in Singapore, Malaysia, Norway, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, many countries. So it is based upon 4 corner and 5 corner model. So we'll talk what is this 4 and 5 corner model. So it is a PIN-TIE XML format. That is what it supports exchange of both B2B, B2G and cross-border transactions. Please note that B2C invoices doesn't fall under e-invoicing. If you are doing B2C invoices in that B2C transactions, in that scenario, those invoices will follow the same process, current process today. There is no impact on B2C invoices. E-invoicing is only going to impact on B2B transactions, B2G, export, even self-bill transactions. All those transactions are going to be having impact on because of e-invoicing. All right. So what is this 5 corner model? How is this going to work? Let us talk. So why it is called as 5 corner model means 5 parties are involved. Corner one, seller. Corner two, seller's access point. It means nothing but seller service provider, receiver's access point, and buyer. And finally, FTA is the corner 5. So let us first talk about this 4 corner model. Then let us talk about 5 corner model. So in 4 corner model, no government intervention. Everything is done from seller, seller's access point, receiver access point, and buyer without government intervention at all. So let us take simple example, then we will go in detail. So let me take example of telecom operators. How are they going to work? So seller is Venkat and let's say buyer is Nazim. If Venkat wants to send message to Nazim, what Venkat will do is Venkat will take mobile, open messenger app, put two recipients, some contact number of Nazim. Then finally what happens is I will type some text message, hi, then I will click on send. Within 2 to 3 seconds, that message is delivered to Nazim. But what is happened between the 2 to 3 seconds? Let us understand. So first that message is sent to my telecom operator. Let's say my telecom operator is Etisalat. What Etisalat will do? Etisalat will verify whether mobile number to recipient is valid or not. How Etisalat is going to verify it? There is something called phone data dictionary. In PayPal terminology, that is nothing but service metadata locator. So we will verify in SML with so which party that so and so. So with so let's say Nazim with which telecom operator Nazim is registered. Let's say Nazim is with Do telecom operator. So my telecom operator Etisalat will submit that message to Do telecom operator. Do telecom operator is going to submit that message to Nazim. This is exactly going to happen in 2 to 3 seconds. That's the reason e-invoicing is near real time. So now this is the flow. Now government intervene in between. What government wants to know is what are the messages both Nazim and Venkat are exchanging. Whose responsibility to submit that message to government? Government is not asking Venkat or Nazim to submit that message. Why? Because we may submit some wrong message. We may send some hi message to Nazim and we may say bye to FTA. Let's say for example. So whose FTA is going to trust? FTA is going to trust telecom operators. So this telecom operator has to submit that message to FTA. Both my telecom operator Etisalat and similarly Do telecom operator will also submit that message to FTA. So what is going to happen at any given point of time? The messages exchange between seller and buyer or between Nazim and Venkat, it is in line with FTA. It means everywhere the data is accurate and same. Now let us take example of e-invoicing, how it is going to work. In PayPal terminology, telecom operator is nothing but access points, ASPs, accredited service provider. Without telecom operators, can we both parties exchange invoices or messages? No, that is not going to happen. Telecom operators are mandatory. That's where access points comes into picture in PayPal terminology. So in case if you are selling something, you need to have your own access point. You have to submit that data to access point. Access point will submit to FTA and access point will submit to receiver's access point. Receiver access point will submit to the buyer. That is what exactly going to happen. So what is the proof to you that that invoice is submitted to receiver access point and FTA? The proof is that as soon as we submit invoice to FTA, FTA will give us message accepted or rejected. Similarly, receiver access point also will give us message accepted, rejected, accepted and forwarded to buyer, accepted and not forwarded to buyer. Some messages we are going to get from this receiver's access point also. Both those messages will submit to the seller. So that's a proof for you that that invoice is exchanged between all the parties. Okay. So now let me add few interesting points here. So what is going to happen if it is a export transaction? So if you are selling something to Saudi, let us assume, seller is submitting invoice to seller's access point. Seller access point will submit to FTA. Seller access point will verify in SML, nowhere that Saudi TIN number or VAT number is not on the PayPal network. So immediately seller access point will send message to seller, invoice submitted to FTA, but not to the buyer so and so reason. Why? Because buyer is not on the PayPal network. So that message is a proof for you that you have to submit invoice to the buyer manually. It means you have to generate PDF and you have to submit to the buyer if it is an export transaction. All the domestic transactions will fall under e-invoicing. Even export also falls under e-invoicing. You have to submit to FTA, which is mandatory. After submitting to FTA, that invoice you have to submit to the buyer. Okay. Now, that's the reason B2C doesn't fall under e-invoicing. B2C customers will not be on the PayPal network. Export invoices. Now, what is going to happen is, if you are unable to integrate with this access point, what is the solutions are available? So how you can integrate with this access point in real time? That is something we will discuss, more interesting things. And similarly, what is going to happen here is, you can't select multiple access points for one TIN number. One TIN number can have only one access point. It means you can't have multiple access point at any given point of time. So you should only go with one access point as per FTA regulations. Per TIN number, if you have VAT group of companies, in that scenario, what is going to happen is, if group company wants to go with some vendor, it is irrespective whether if a group has 5 TIN numbers, 5 companies, that 5 companies can decide who is their ASP. There is nothing under VAT group VAT ID or whatever it is. It's always per TIN number. Under group companies, 5 companies can go with 5 different ASPs or same ASP. It is up to them. It is always per TIN number. All right. So this is about AR flow, how sales is going to happen. So customers can use any ERP. So Taxila is ERP diagnostic. You can send data to our access point via API, SFTP or file upload. You can use your own format. We do data transformations enrich. So if you see, XML is the only file format which is exactly FTA is accepting, or any access points are going to accept. But we are accepting beyond XML. You can load data in your own format. We do enrichment, transformation, finally submit to FTA, as well as other access point, corner 3. We will give the response back to your ERP. This is what that invoice is exchanged between all the parties. Or in case of any error, we'll pass that error message. You have to correct that, and again, you have to resubmit data to access point. Similarly, we do support SFTP integration. If not API, you can extract data, put it in some shared folder. We pick it from there, submit to FT and access point. We can place response back. Similarly, we do support file upload. You can log into our portal. We can even provide access point access. You can log in. At end of the day, you can upload all the sales invoices B2B to Taxila. We submit to FT and other access point. So we do have flexible options in place. You can decide what exactly you want. Okay, we are ERP diagnostic. That is something which is required. Now coming to AP, accounts payable, purchase side. So as soon as we receive any invoice from other access point, there is no paper invoice if it is a domestic transaction. That invoice is with Taxil's access point. We submit a copy to FTA. Then what exactly we do is that invoice, we can load it to your ERP directly. We can integrate with your ERP. As soon as we receive a purchase invoice, we will load it to your ERP. We support webhook, APIs, and all those things. In case if you want us to do transformation, why? Because transformation here important. We are receiving pin.tie XML from other access point. If I share pin.tie XML to the finance user, that finance user won't understand what is this pin.tie XML. In case if you want us to convert it to some readable format, which your users can easily understand and read the data, capture it in the ERP, we can do transformation, we can convert the data, enrich the data further, and we can submit it to the ERP. We can load it to the ERP. In case if any companies would like to consider automation, we do have something like custom workflows in place. As soon as we receive the data, we are not going to load it to your ERP. You can put some workflow. You can accept that invoice. Once you click on accept, we are sending to the ERP. You can accept and route, whether internally or externally. You can do validations, reconciliations, validations with PO, GRN, or any reconciliations you can do. Send mail to seller requesting additional info or documents. In case if you want to clear the payment or accept that invoice, everything you can do in Taxila robust AP portal. And finally, what will be the outcome? Potential 80% time saving is the outcome by doing this entire setup. Or else we will load it to your ERP, then you have to perform all the checks to release the payment. But you can do everything here and you can do the checks. That is what we are even providing full suite to automate your invoice to pay process. Okay, all right. So this is how we are going to do transformations. As I mentioned, there are typically, yes, VDM, virtual data mapping utility. So there are two types of solutions in the market: extract, load, and transform. Extract, transform, and load. We are ELT, extract, load, and transform. It means you no need to load data to Taxila as per FTA format. Source, you can see nothing but your input. You can load data as per your own format. Target is nothing but which is required as per FTA. We do mapping of your data with FTA data. So after doing this mapping, this is nothing but gap analysis process. Let's say 10 or 20 fields are missing. What exactly we'll do with Nazim's experience, Aamin's experience, we'll try to find out what are that missing fields and how we can structure that missing fields. It means if it is a static field, we can hard code it. If it is a dynamic field, we will try to derive some logic. If there is no option for us to derive that logic, we will go back to the customers and we will tell, see, these are the 5 fields, we can't derive it. The only option is you have to add these 5 fields in the ERP. That is something. And then you can pass it on to Taxila, and you have to remember each field has its own lookup. Let's say 380 for tax invoice, 381 for debit note, 383 for credit note. These are all the lookups given by FTA. So we have to make sure all that lookups are available in the ERP also. So in ERP, if you are not considering as 381, if you are sending to any ASP as credit note, they are going to reject that invoice. Why? Because credit note is not a valid lookup. 381 is a valid lookup. So you have to add those lookups. If you think that is too much of confusion to the users, then exactly here we comes into picture. You can even pass it as a credit note to Taxila. We do enrichment, transformation. When we are submitting to FTA, we'll consider as 381 lookup given by FTA. That lookup number we are going to submit to FTA. So you no need to change anything in the ERP with very minimum impact on the source systems. I can say zero impact on the source systems. You can get ready for e-invoicing because of this VDM capability what we have in place. So what are the key steps to follow? So first we have to understand the regulatory landscape, review FTA guidelines and data dictionary. So we are offering IT assessment, gap analysis as a services. We are helping companies to get ready for e-invoicing. In case if you would like to get ready for e-invoicing, this is what exactly we will educate you. What is the regulatory landscape, FTA guidelines, what is data dictionary, what are those 50 fields, how many lookup values given by FTA for each field. So what are the different invoice type? There are 16 use cases given by FTA. So whether all the 16 use cases are applicable to you or only 5. If something is applicable to you but FTA did not list it, we will analyze everything. And when exactly we have to go live, what is the pilot phase, when it is going to start, all those things. Then identify right stakeholders. So from cross-functional team everywhere, appoint project lead. Considering budget is also very important. Why? Because it's a digital compliances and this is mandatory, which is government is making. So maybe all of a sudden e-invoicing came into the picture. So once FT announces, maybe you don't have enough budget for this project particularly. In that scenario, you can consider budget, you can take board approvals, and you can make sure you can allocate some money for this project, budget for this project. So conduct readiness assessment. We will understand what is as is processed today and what has to be processed. By identifying the gaps, we will submit a proper report to you, summary report, by doing entire gap analysis. Then finally, we will research the right ASP partner. So how you can find the right ASP partner, accredited service provider, and where you can find this list. See, as on today, no list is released by FTA on ASPs. That is one thing you have to remember. In span of 1 month, we are expecting list from FTA. And second thing is where you can see this list of accredited service provider. You can see this list in MRR tax portal. In MRR tax portal, there is a section called e-invoicing. You can click on that e-invoicing. Then you can see list of accredited service provider. From there, you have to select a vendor. So not only that, you have to see transformations, whether they can do transformation, whether they are ERP diagnostic or not. So what is happening beyond e-invoicing? So see what is the agenda of this e-invoicing. Whatever sales and purchase invoices, it is automatically going and populating in VAT reporting. So your VAT reporting become complex. Why? Because you are habituated to do VAT reporting by calculating summary on your own or depending on some consulting firm. That's what exactly you are doing. Now that is going to be impacted. So beyond e-invoicing, what are they offering? Are they offering what automation, VAT reporting solution, or at the same time, are they offering you reconciliations, validations, AP flow automation, AR flow automation? So you have to consider in bigger picture and decide the vendor for e-invoicing. So that is something we will help you to identify that as well. So how to get ready for e-invoicing? You have to select an ASP. After doing all those things, start with ASP, then impact analysis, identify integration method, file format, then define AR and AP process, then finally UAT, then get ready for pilot phase. Now you may ask me one simple question, why should I get ready for pilot phase? What are the advantages if I get ready for pilot phase? It is getting mandatory from July. Why should I get ready from December? See, the simple reason behind it, if you are an early entry, the main advantage that you are going to have is if something is not working, you always have time to fix those things. Or else, if you are going live right from the deadline, July 1st, you don't have enough time. You may be in hurry. You did not do proper UAT. You may miss some use case. Then there is no time for you to fix those things at all. This pilot phase is a golden opportunity for any company to participate and let them get ready for the e-invoicing digital transformation. Why also I will tell you, once you submit invoices to the ASPs, you can't do anything. They will straight away go and submit to FTA as well as other access point. If you want to edit that invoice, you can't edit. There is no option given by FTA to edit. Only option is to amend that invoice. It means you can issue a credit note and regenerate a new invoice. So that is something. And this is not only impacting your AR, entire AP also. So you have to make sure you're having a proper solution in place with proper automation workflows. So this is a sample of MRA tax portal, how you can see information where you can see. This is not yet live. This is what FTA shared with service providers like us in their meeting. Just we are putting it for your references, how it is going to work. So these are the differentiators what we have: strong, accredited, partnered with the Aamin data, then PEPAL experts across the globe, flexible integrations we do support, end-to-end automations, fast go-live support, built for compliance and scale. So the most major important thing here is, if you see, in case if FTA is changing something, what exactly we do is we will incorporate those changes in our application free of cost. We will make sure at any point of time our customers are fully compliant with e-invoicing regulations and guidelines. So that's all I have to present for this meeting. Yeah, over to you, Naseem.
Thank you, Venkat. Thank you. So, why the pilot, what you have mentioned is a very important point where Jan to December, most of the companies' financial year here. So once you start, then if you can start from Jan 2026, if you are ready for that, that will make sense for the new financial year, for easy for auditing, easy for practicing, and also it gives a good impression image to your customers who are dealing with you that you already started and things. Venkat has, yeah, that is, I said simple, but it is a lot of work at the back, like when you see a nice, tasteful food, but there's a lot of ingredients, a lot of chef and work is going on at the kitchen, so it comes out nice. Um, the most important point, what I see is you may be using any type of ERP. You may be having a continuous contract or support, but when it comes to customization, that's a different task. So as Venkat mentioned, what we can do is what you are using, it's not an issue. We can take those data, do a process and send it. And also today, in a short period, a lot of information has gone in and it will take some time to sink in. So we can have a continuous dialogue with you. If you let us, please contact us. So we're in this thing. So we will educate you. We'll inform. I mean, we will handhold you during this process how it goes. So I don't see any questions because the mics are muted. Saddam, we had little problem with this. Is can be opened up if you raise your hand or anyone wants to post any questions. We still have 10 minutes to go. Please do let us know. Otherwise,
You are raising hands. Good to see. Yeah.
yeah. So it is Mr. And hello, Mike. You can even talk if you want. Your mic is open, so you can talk, please.
Hi, hi, good afternoon, good evening. Just thank you very much for the information and the insights of this e-invoicing, which is definitely a challenge for the team who is already involved in many other projects. And Abdul Hakim, as you know that we are invoicing, like we have some setup where we have HSTs in hand. People go with those HSTs in the market and they invoice on the spot. So how we are going to deal with such kind of when they are at the door of the customer, and suppose our truck is in the market with the handheld terminal HST in hand, and they are at the door of, say, West Zone supermarket. They deliver and they issue the invoice. So how, in that case, how that we have already handed over that hard copy of that invoice or thermal paper invoice to the customer. So how it is going to go to this FTA or with through you first, and then it is going to be recognized or authenticated.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
so that is what going to happen. Then there is no other option for us to escape. This is a mandate. So you have to submit to the access point at any cost. You need to have access point in place. Then the flow is automated. So no one will ask you to submit the paper invoice or something. But what you have to understand here is only we are exchanging invoices via this PayPal network. But in case if they have any objections, if they are not paying against that invoice, there is no option to accept or reject then those invoices from the buyer. So you have to again follow up for the payments. They may respond to you asking for some additional information, or it's a process. But only instead of paper invoice, we are moving to digital. That is only what we have to understand. So ERP side complexities will be there definitely. That is something we are going to address with the time of gap analysis and everything.
So shall I
Abdul,
add one more?
can
Yeah,
you
sorry.
I
just
believe, yeah,
Abdul
I
Hakim
believe,
also?
yes, yes, I'm here. I think whatever invoice we print from the market, I think we need to have a digital copy of that to, send it to the systems or the access point where then it fetch for the further, processing. I think this is how it should be
No,
followed.
no, Abdul, that is not how it should be. Why? Because there is no paper in, there is nothing called receipt now. There is no paper invoice. That is what FTA is making
That's what,
mandatory.
yeah, yeah,
So,
that's what I'm telling you. Whatever
mm,
invoice we print in the market for the delivery, because we are also in terms of distribution, we do a lot of distribution activities in the market. So whatever we print as a manual or the physical copy of that invoices, we should have a digital copy which has to be fetched from the system itself, not an external copy of it. It has to be, it should be available as a digital copy. That's what you're mentioning, right?
see, to some extent, it's correct. There is no, see, digital copy in the sense you are not going to submit to the buyer. Again, that is what something access point, they themselves submit to the buyer. It means you are responsive, all you have to tell to them is we submitted to access point. Simple.
So
Yeah,
Venkat,
okay, understood. I think it is
sorry.
not, I mean, yeah, we should not, maybe we can do deliveries on delivery note basis, or whatever document which we are giving it to them, we can say this is a pre-invoice or a pro forma
Pro
invoice.
forma,
Original invoice you will get through that, what you call that name,
PayPal access
access,
point.
PayPal access
Yes,
point, after having FTA validation.
exactly.
Exactly, exactly.
This is
Got
a
it.
FMCG distribution truck goes to a supermarket, and what they've
Correct. Yeah.
done now is they have like a tablet, and there are
Hmm.
two things. One is the cash they collect from the supermarket after delivery. Now there is a credit. So what they
Correct.
do once they, what the two things happened here. So once they issue make the invoice, it is still connected to PayPal and it goes to them. So what they see is, look, maybe the supermarket doesn't have that and they have to receive that information, okay, in their mobile or something, and which can be configured. Then once they receive, you are allowed to print. If you want to print, okay, you can print and collect the cash and issue the receipt. So this is the one process which happens in a European country, which
Hmm.
Yeah, because uh, if customer is a cash customer and we are issuing an invoice, he has to pay on the spot. Otherwise,
exactly.
we
But
have
is it a
another
B, it
system.
is a B2B transaction, right? It's not B2C. Or
No,
it is a B2C.
B2B supermarket,
And
yeah.
Supermarket, yeah, B2B, yes.
B2B
It
only.
is
Okay,
sometime
fine.
it is B2C also. So for B2C, you already said there is no,
No
it
need.
is not required.
No, it means still you have to
Yeah,
submit the
into
receipt and
B2B
collect the
also,
cash.
in the B2B
Yeah.
also, we have certain cash customers. So the question here is, when we raise the invoice, we received the cash. So the things are settled, I mean, we got the money and the transaction is closed. However, the transaction is still remaining for VAT calculation and payments, which will be in parallel be happening in PayPal.
Exactly. Submitted to FTA, all that going
One
to
more,
happen.
one more thing. If this the customer where we are supplying does not have this system, PayPal, in that case,
See, Dhanrawat, see, from July 2026, maybe 50% of companies will be on PayPal network. Maybe from December 2026, 90% of the customers will be on PayPal network. That is something which may happen.
yeah.
So, first phase in July, what exactly you have to do is, whenever you are going to do business with any buyer, you have to clean up your masters now. In your masters, you have to put additional option like whether buyer is on PayPal network or not, yes or no, that you have to create in the master. If it is on the PayPal network, what happens is we'll exchange it via PayPal. If it is not on the PayPal network, you have to issue paper invoice or PDF to them. Why? Because it is not mandatory to them. But eventually,
Okay.
over the period of time, within span of 1 year, every company will be on the PayPal network.
Okay. I mean, then that will, I mean, we are proactive, or we want to do it. And we are thinking that since we fall in we fall in that category of getting ourselves registered, we will have that network. But there will be certain customer who has less than 50,000 capital, paid up capital, and a
No,
couple
no.
of,
Paid of capital and all that, yeah, that is for accredited service providers, not for the taxpayers. Taxpayers, it's always depends upon their turnover. Threshold limit is going to be the revenue of the company. That
how much it
revenue,
is?
see, not yet announced. We are expecting
Not yet
something in
announced.
between
100
100 million to 500 million
to
dirham
start with.
right from July.
100 million to 500
Fine.
million dirham.
In between, somewhere, maybe 250 and above, or 100 and above, or 500 and above.
So 100, whose revenue in 1 year, or
Exactly.
Yes.
Annual turnover.
annual turnover, if it is more than 100 million, suppose, so that they must go through that process, must
Yeah,
register.
100 or 250, whatever it is, they have
So
to go through this process.
in that case, what I feel, the kind of business we are, maybe 60 to 70% customer will not register, because we are
Oh,
selling it mostly to coffee shops, small restaurants, bakalas, groceries, and supermarket, hypermarket, and then comes this Carrefour and Spinneys and hotels.
understood then. So in that scenario, if they're not on PayPal network, that's what I'm trying to say. You have to have a checklist whether they is on PayPal network or not. If they're on PayPal network, you have to submit to them via PayPal. If they're not on PayPal network, still you are responsible to submit that invoice to FTA. That is mandatory. You have to submit that invoice to FTA. Only to buyer you are going to submit via PDF or paper, whatever
Oh,
it is.
okay, so that, yeah, it will remain with
Yeah.
FTA, because FTA is not going to send any notification or anything to the buyer then, because they are not.
Exactly. Hmm.
So
Okay.
it is a phase one though. So eventually they will catch everyone. So that is the thing. Now currently, if they go big bang, it will be a mess. So they are very cautious about it. They will
Understood.
start with the top who have abilities, who have people,
IT team.
departments, everything, right?
Understood.
But
Understood. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So then next phase will start, then third phase will start. So they will keep adding and everybody will talk about it and everybody will. Eventually, so the more you come to know, you are prepared yourself, that is good for you. And that's where we come in to help you.
Okay. Is it mentioned somewhere that 100 million or 500 million, it should be
No,
one
not yet.
standalone company or of the group?
No, they are not announced yet, but they are going to announce it soon, isn't it?
Because in our company there are 3 more subsidiaries, 4 more subsidiaries. So if I consider my group, yes, we are 100 million plus. If I say individual standalone companies, no, they are lesser revenue generating companies.
You know, it is unofficial, I could say, now how the corporate law tax works. So they are looking at it very closely based on our discussion. And whether there is one law now where if you have a group company, the corporate tax is applicable for the total group. So even one group is not making money, it doesn't matter. So they had to have individual, then what makes profit it come. That's what they are looking at it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. For any other questions, we have crossed 2 minutes. If we can take one more question, please do contact us. If you have any question, do send us an email. We will definitely respond to you.
Sure.
So
Thank you so much.
thank you, Mr. Abdul Hakim. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for attending. It was a little bit of hiccup in the beginning, so we covered it up as much as possible. This is just a first one, and we need to have few more sessions as the announcement comes, and we will be more clarity, and we'll tell you what is the next step, how we can go about it. Thank you
Sure,
so
sure.
much. Have a nice
Thank you so
evening,
much.
all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Subair, Mohammed, and Nazim. And definitely will be in touch with you guys.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Then.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.